So for my Wondering Wednesday topic this week, I want to talk about cooking. Just in general, I've been doing a lot of cooking lately.
Yeah.
and I mean, I do all the cooking at home, really.
Sure.
And I was just, just tie it into our barbecue competition and just cooking in general. I've been thinking a lot about cooking lately, and I really wanted to talk about recipes. Have we talked about recipes before? A little bit,
like we've talked chili recipes,
right? Yeah, and then whatever soup season.
Oh yeah, we did
that big.
Can't wait for soup season.
Flop of a segment that we worked on. But what are some staple recipes that are in your household, or like that you've grown up to love, that you've tried to recreate, or that you try to recreate, but like they're not on the money, but like, what are some things that you love every time you make it, or like the kids are like, yes, every time you make it? You know what I mean? Like just stuff that's just like permanent staples on your menu. Go ahead.
My boys seem to like when I make the biscuits and gravy. Not that there's anything to it, but that and meatloaf is about the only two things I make that have any sort of a recipe in anymore. I just kind of wing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and you got those down pat where you don't even.
Last time I made the meatloaf was the first time I just did it, Kentucky windage. Didn't
really.
So the B's and G's, is that like the canned gravy?
No.
Oh my gosh! What do you?
Well, I mean, that's what we did. I mean, that's what we ate when we went on vacation.
Yeah. We brought a giant can of gravy.
Mrs. Smoke is a big fan of the canned gravy. You know what I mean? I just didn't know.
I think I used too much flour in mine. I think it upsets her stomach a little bit.
You think so?
She appreciates the cans, but the boys, they're all in.
Yeah.
Wait, so gravy, white gravy, like milk gravy comes in a can?
Yeah, with sauce,
and it wasn't bad,
and it's actually really good. Yeah, comes from Sam's.
Costco, one of the two.
One of the two box stores. Yeah,
God,
it's like a 3-gallon.
I guarantee you that 95% of the breakfast joints that you eat at, besides your house, the gravy comes from a can.
I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is like I would never do that in my household. My mother would strike me down as soon as I stepped foot outside, because that woman taught me how to make gravy.
Well, yeah, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying.
But what is that in the can? I mean, that's got to have flour in it, because you got to have it.
No, I think it's just jelly, lots of jelly, and then when you get it hot, it becomes not.
Yeah, there's something that makes it. I think it's more cornstarch than it is flour. I think they use cornstarch for stiffeners.
Oh,
in a pre-made jelly gravy.
Well, I mean, this gravy, when you open that can.
So do you mix anything with it?
Absolutely not. You go straight into the crock pot or straight into the pot.
Because like I've seen them where they have like the powdered mix.
Yeah. Sawmill.
Yeah.
The old sawmill packages.
Whatever it would be. Yeah, I don't know. But so biscuits and gravy. Now, what kind of biscuits have you ever made your own biscuits?
Only from like Bisquick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never rolled any out. We get those frozen ones that are Pillsbury,
those
big bag of them, and I like them after a few days.
What about the cans of Grands?
We typically do something of that nature.
Yeah.
But when we camp now and do B's and G's, Jenna found at Sam's Club, or one of them, like a big 40-ep. Kind of looks like the biscuits from KFC is what it sort of looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they're already there. You just pop them up for like 10 minutes.
Yep, that's exactly it. So we take those camping just because they're easy to warm up.
You going camping again?
Labor Day weekend.
You got a camper? Or
taking a tent.
Taking a tent.
Primitive campsite, so we won't have a fan or anything.
You know what they say about camping?
What's that?
It's intense.
Now, you say it's primitive. That means no electricity.
No electricity. Jenna doesn't know yet that there's only pit houses over there. There's not actually.
Surprise, honey!
Ta-da! She's been over there, so she may know.
Where are you going to?
Patoka. We're going to rent a pontoon boat on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, last year it's just. I don't think the fisherman's camp is normally very busy, but for Labor Day weekend, it may sell out
for sure.
So then the kids get a little bit anxious, I think, just riding their bike in circles for 3 days. We're like, we'll go get a boat.
Yeah, that's cool.
One last boat ride for the weekend here.
We need to look. I mean, the kids are just so young. Like, we'd have to tie them down to the tree. You know what I mean? They'd be running everywhere. That'd be tough to keep them kind of.
You'd have to go on lots of walks.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be much lawn chair time for Casey.
No.
Camping with youngsters like that.
That'd be tough.
When we go, I don't know, we may squat at Lincoln again with that.
We got offered a position or a spot to squat this week. And I was like, man, and it was a day that I got the reservation.
From one of our squad? Mm-hmm. Well, you should have. Cancel it.
That's the same thing he said, but I got a boat I can't cancel.
Oh, it's at Lincoln. And then, are they going to Lincoln too again? Yeah. Was it Daniel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he called me and asked me if we were going. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
last year it was just like a
you guys
whim thing, right?
Like, you guys happen to be there. No, this has been like the third year.
Well, you guys didn't plan on camping that weekend. I thought.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like we know it's there, and it's like if it works, we just go.
I got you.
What about recipes for you? What do you got?
Well, there's something cool when my grandma Lindemann, old Marcella, she had an old cookbook that went I don't want it to sound bad, but it went MIA for a while. Wasn't certain where it was at,
right?
And then it's been rediscovered. And I want to get through it.
Where was it?
It was at my aunt's house.
Oh, okay.
So when they were cleaning it out after she passed, and cousin Jennifer moved over there to house over there in Hunter's Crossing. But it's kind of one of those things where I want to go through that old cookbook and see, because I know like my dad has said that there's recipes from there that he remembers. Just kind of go through, but he remembers the cookbook as a child, which is cool, because I don't think, like, would your boys say like, oh, hey, Dad, you got the old family cookbook right next to the family Bible kind of thing. And so I want to go through that. But a cool thing that my wife, she probably planned it when they did the wedding shower, was write down your favorite recipes. And cool. It's cool because my mom, which you look back on these things and like how, like you wouldn't think at the time, like it's just mom writing down a recipe, but in her handwriting, there's her famous apple pie recipe. And I made it 4th of July, get 6 to 8 Granny Smith apples, get them sliced up. You got a little bit of a powder mix that you kind of mix them with, and throw some butter and put them baby in a pie. And then lasagna. That's a non-ricotta cheese lasagna, because Pop Frank is he don't mess around with ricotta cheese. Not his cup of tea. So it's straight Mott's.
I always grew up eating cottage cheese in lasagna.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And instead of noodles, Mom used Grand's crescent rolls. Like obviously didn't roll them up, just flattened them out. Yeah.
Yeah, because they stay light and airy. So kind of a different kind of lasagna.
Yeah, we didn't mess around with none of that noodle shit.
Yeah. Oh, Mom used to. She'd make them noodles. She'd do all that. And then there's like some recipes from growing up that aren't written down anywhere that have been tough to recreate since she passed. So like my advice to some of you young kids out there, if your parents are out there, or your mom or your grandma's out there cooking at Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you enjoy whatever side they're making,
pay attention.
You need to get out there and learn, because we have tinkered with the old stuffing recipe at Thanksgiving, trying to find out what's right. Some different things like that. But, she just would. She was a good cook with a lot of that stuff, and she had memorized a lot of it. So there's some old school cookbooks up there at Dad's house that, she used. But, I think back to it, like, she taught us all how to make biscuits and gravy. The lasagna recipe, just some other different things, chicken and dumplings, with those, I can remember as a kid, the old chicken boiling what seemed like all day.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Shredding that son of a bitch, and then doing like Reams noodles, like Ream, not making homemade dumplings, but those Reams dumplings, and and then she did a chicken noodle soup that was with the Reams noodle, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like the dumpling noodle that's a little bit bigger and square, and then it has like Reams has a noodle variety. The chili recipe for the porch party. That comes from her. Kind of passed it along how to make that. But, she made a great hash brown casserole. She was a good cook, and you picked up a lot of that from watching and different things. But that's a rambling way of answering your question,
This
and I apologize.
is about to make me jump off a bridge.
It was getting me last week.
Just make sure the water's deep
and cold. I need to tell you about my $1 million spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had it, I think. Yeah.
Down there in the swamp.
Yeah. Did you have? I don't know if you've ever had it yet. I made it tonight, and that's what made me think of this topic.
Okay.
Because like the girls and I. So let's just say
before you go into it.
Okay.
Do any of your kids watch you cook? Like trying to pick up on some of it?
Wyatt has started cooking a lot, so if it's something he's interested in, he'll
do it.
My girls will hang out with me depending on what I'm making, and they really want to help, but I won't let them, just because I want to get it done and get it over with. So hopefully they do pay attention, but sometimes. So today, get off 3:30, go home. The kids have been getting off the bus like really late, like 4:15.
Zoe said that too. She's like, we've been super, and like in the 6-year-old
and like this soup, and some like they're taking the Shirley boy home. Ours are the last off the bus for some reason, because she goes straight back to the school to park her bus after she gets done with our kids. Well, Eleanor gets off the bus. Max gets off the bus. Evelyn's at cross-country practice. We leave at 4:30 to go back to Huntingburg to pick up Evelyn. Then at 5, we have soccer. Then at 6, we have football. And then at 7:30, football's over. And then I'm home after that. So I'm asking the girls, what do you want for supper tonight? And they're like, I don't know. Evelyn's just dying of starvation. You know what I mean? Every day. Like she's never been fed, never been eaten, just gonna die, literally, because if she doesn't eat, like immediately. So she said, obviously, first thing she says is McDonald's. No. Loses her shit. What about Dairy Queen? No. Loses her shit. And I said, we will not be eating out. Like we're going to go home and cook something. And then I said, she's like, well, what are we going to, oh my God, that's going to take forever. What are we going to make? And I said, well, what do you want me to make? And I said, whatever you want. And then she said, blah, 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 blah. I'm hungry right now. I want to eat a bag of Takis. So she did. And I told her I was going to make $1 million spaghetti. So with that being said, that's something that like every time I bring it up, the kids are just like going batshit crazy because they really, really like that one. I'd say the other one would be like hibachi. Mm-hmm. Like when I fire up the Blackstone.
No, I don't have a recipe for that though. So I feel like I do okay with hibachi, trying to get it going, but I don't have a recipe I follow. It's just kind of a eyeballing it.
So when I do hibachi, I don't. So I usually just get the chicken and I marinate it in soy sauce with garlic and sesame seed oil and get that going, because I'm just.
So like when you do hibachi,
I'm fancy like that.
Like I guess we don't do the hibachi thing. I don't know. I would like it, I guess, but
it just makes a lot. It's pretty cheap.
It's a shit ton of food for not very much money, and it'll keep forever. I don't ever dick with day old. I don't ever make fried rice. Like I don't ever dick with that. We just make a whole ass rice cooker full, like a big pot full.
Yeah, you do have a rice cooker, don't you?
And then I just do the chicken, the veggies, mushrooms, all that shit out on the Blackstone. When it's done, bring it in, and then just eat it with regular, like fresh white rice.
Yeah, we take cooked rice, throw it on the Blackstone, some soy sauce, putting about 3 or 4 eggs in there with it.
Yeah.
Keep it all going. Then
you can get a bag of like the peas, carrots, and corn.
We do that too.
Throw that. My brother makes a badass fried rice with actual day old rice. So when you put
with day-old rice.
100%. Yeah, you can't make fried rice with rice that literally is just made. It'll turn into one big old clump of shit.
No.
You
Every
do?
time I fry the rice, it's straight off the stove.
Really?
Well, I mean, it sits in the pan for a while, like doing
Any
its thing.
recipe that you ever look up on the internet for fried rice, it'll always say day old rice, which
I'm going to put a recipe on there that don't say day old.
which I don't know. I mean,
Dave's today
because
rice.
it's clumpy. You know what I
Dave's
mean?
today
Like
rice.
it'll get clumpy if you don't.
So you still got to boil it and then throw it on. And,
100%.
and where you're saying is I don't want to mess with that, so we just make fresh rice.
And then we don't fry it. We just take the vegetables, eat it over top of the fresh rice with
Oh, I'm sure it's healthier without the eggs.
yum yum.
Well, no, you get a little extra protein there.
That's
Dave.
Well, there goes it all goes out the window with when you put the yum yum on.
Well, I put the yum yum on it too, though. So.
Well, sure.
Is it
So,
yum yum? Is it mayonnaise based?
Yeah, I think it's
Well,
like mayonnaise and
nectar of the gods based is what it is.
Where do you get your yum yum
That
from?
more for less?
I bet you do.
Yeah, in a bottle.
I don't know where Jen gets hers. Probably
I get the
Sam's
spicy
Club one.
red label spicy.
I don't think we got anything like
Good
that.
shit. So I take chicken thighs, real big. I don't usually
You're a big chicken thigh guy.
usually don't dick around with the breast meat because they're number one, they're expensive.
You're an ass man.
I'm an ass man. Well, thighs be like a leg guy, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But
I heard they lead to the ass.
yeah, that's the step
Just
before
follow it up
Yeah,
there.
it's right before you get to the ass. Yeah, but I take the chicken thighs that are not connected to the ass, and then I don't usually cut them up. Like I just marinate the whole ass thigh with the sesame
then
oil.
you cut
and
'em
then
up.
once I get them on the grill and they start, to getting to where
Now
they're.
you just said you don't want to around with rice, but you're doing all that.
What do you mean?
For your chicken.
Well, still.
Yeah, I would be.
feel like
I'd just buy breast meat, throw them in there.
And then what?
Still,
that's
you
all
can
I
still
do.
marinate
Like
'em.
that's it. I cut them up, put them on the cooker.
And you don't season them or anything?
They get some soy sauce while I'm frying them.
So basically, that's what I like.
Can
I
we
take
go to hibachi together sometime?
not a chance.
Why
It's
not?
too expensive. I can't afford it.
It's called podcast money.
No,
It's a business meeting.
Yeah, business meeting. But I don't.
As long as you don't
when
want
I
them to
say
pay.
marinate, I don't. It's not like marinating for an hour. Like I literally just take them out of the package, put them in a bowl with a whole bunch of bullshit, and then take that bowl and put it on the grill.
But then isn't that kind of a waste because it
Oh.
doesn't absorb much of the flavor?
Yeah, I thought you were like putting it in the fridge overnight or something.
no, no, I don't do
Okay.
that. But yeah, so I don't know. I've just been thinking about cooking.
Is there any old recipes that you
Well, no.
carry from the
So
homeland?
Justine always that chicken Justine. I think we talked about that before with the rice and the cream of chicken soup and all that stuff.
Well, you're pretty proud of that buffalo chicken dip you do sometimes.
I mean, that's kind of it. I think that ship's kind of sailed. I mean, everybody's kind of, it's just kind of like a drop in the bucket anymore. Nobody really gives a shit about
Is
buffalo
there-
chicken dip. But
To kind of put your question on the flip side, is there any restaurant or place that you've been where you would like to know the recipe for their X, Y, and Z?
well, not necessarily a restaurant, but I did find. We got some new guys working at work now. Another Hollander. Both of them are actually from Holland, but the one from Holland is originally from St. Anthony, Dutchy as shit, real big hillbilly. I think he listens a little bit, Mr. Craig Atkins. Which, by the way,
Oh, Craig.
we're going to have him on the show one of these days because he's actually the Indiana representative field staff of the TFO organization. You ever heard of the TFO, the Fallen Outdoors? It's a huge nationally renowned outdoors organization that they basically take vets hunting and fishing and
Oh, cool.
get vets back out in the outdoors. And he's the field staff and Indiana rep. Well, I guess you'd say
He's Indiana's dude.
basically there's one other guy that's in charge of Indiana. Like each state has a chair.
Yeah, because he served in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, for a long time. But anyway, he's got this. That son bitch brings more food to work than I've ever seen in my life. Like worse than Beatles. I mean, he's got a 5-gallon bucket sized lunchbox.
And he ain't very big.
No, he's a little guy. And that son bitch has got 15 Tupperwares in it every day. Nice ones, like good Tupperware. And like
you been item?
oh hell, I'm a big Ziploc bag guy. You know what I mean?
No, I
Like,
can only
did
imagine.
you literally just bring macaroni and cheese in a Ziploc bag? Yeah. Why not? You throw some of it away when you're done. Anyway,
You don't microwave it in the Ziploc.
No,
Okay.
I got
I
to.
always microwave my stuff in the Ziploc bag.
God, you're
Weird. Are you serious?
Yeah,
Well, what else are you going to microwave it in? If you take it
on
in
your
a zip-
damn plate.
I don't take a plate.
See, there's your problem.
I just eat it out of the bag,
threshing
like the broccoli.
threshing machine threshing machine tomatoes is what this is called, and I had never heard of it before in my life. And he's looked at me like I had 5 heads. What do you mean? You ain't never had any? And he's real, like I said,
Just from Birdseye.
yeah, hilarious. No, he's from St. Anthony, not Birdseye. Anyway, he says, yeah, they're called threshing machine tomatoes, and it's literally just tomatoes, green peppers, and onions, and they make them in 2-gallon Lucky Buck buckets, and it's got like salt, vinegar, pepper, sugar, some other shit, and then they let them set in the fridge for 2 days in this like mixture, and then you just eat it, and it is unbelievable how good they are. But it's just an old.
But why
it's
would
like
you call it a threshing machine?
that's what their recipe's called. That's what it's called. Like he sent me a picture.
But you don't. It doesn't go through any machine.
Listen to what I'm saying, Casey.
I'm listening to you, and I'm telling you, there's no machine involved.
Then
in
you
this.
need to go talk to these people in St. Anthony and tell them they're morons for naming it.
I imagine it's probably
tomatoes.
named that because when you went out on the threshing machine, it was an all-day deal, and you had no way to keep food going. So I imagine they made it because it probably keeps pretty good in the
It
weather.
does
Even
for months.
that way, they can just have it out there in the sun and still
Yeah.
eat while they're on the threshing team.
So
is
it-
what my assumption would be.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good explanation.
So
Dave.
it's just
I'll accept that.
It's like people that make like pickles and like fridge pickles. You ever seen them? Like just old timey
like
food,
a cucumber and onions,
something like that. Yeah, onions with an N, no G.
Now, I had a similar recipe to that last year that I liked a lot. It was down at the river camp, and you took cherry tomatoes, and then you put them in a bag of vodka,
Oh,
and then you just carry that around.
that's disgusting.
I thought so too, but they are good.
Oh,
the
but
vodka or the tomatoes.
both.
I
Both.
just eat tomatoes. I'm a big tomato guy.
Yeah,
So am I.
It's
So am
kind of
I.
like a little portable Bloody Mary bomb, just like
Why do you think
Bloody Mary
tomatoes that are grown like in a hot house
it's unreal.
suck so bad versus something that you pick off the vine? I mean, I know obviously they're fresh, but
I
the
think
flavor profile is not even
I think it's
close. to
it's
being-
them being in the because like we've got tomatoes in 5-gallon buckets because we didn't get the garden.
Your
in.
brothers look like shit, by the way. He needs to water those, or they're probably gonna die. They look bad.
Well, they're down at the hospital because baby number 2 is coming here
Oh,
soon.
good for them.
Yeah, something like that. But they so the
Something like that. Like you're not
Well, I don't
happy.
know. I mean,
you're not happy about your second nephew or what?
well, he'd be the first nephew.
Oh, second, whatever.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic. I just you
Yeah,
know what it's
something
like
like that.
bringing a newborn into the
Yeah,
world.
something like that.
Yeah, it's just something like that. But because then they get into that 18-month where they don't sleep, and then it just. Anyways, I digress. What were we talking? Oh, the garden.
Tomatoes.
So
yeah.
I think what it is when you have the outdoor air and the things that it picks up is what makes it flavorful. Where in those greenhouses, you don't have it's a stale air area unless you kind of open them up and let them run.
It's
Which
mostly genetics, according to the internet. Backyard growers are interested in taste, not yield, or pest resistance. So garden stores stock seeds that are better, that are not as hardy as like a production tomato. So I guess like a hothouse tomato, they just want it high yield and pest prevention.
so that's why it doesn't have the flavor.
Genetics.
Yeah. Well, I think my explanation was going to be better.
Yeah. Well,
I
probably
was rooting
wrong.
for you.
Probably wrong, but better.
I don't know, but yeah, I got to get the garden this fall. It's going to get tilled up, marked
yeah.
up. A lot of tomatoes, a lot of corn,
Yep.
green beans.
Haven't had much corn. I did get the corn that we got from the old neighbor. Justin, the stuff that you guys that bicolor stuff that they brought over, that was pretty good shit.
It's we haven't. Ryan loves it. He's a big sweet corn fan.
Oh God, yeah, my
He's a
kids
big
are
sweet
too,
corn fan.
big time. Anyway, that's all I got.